Hey guys, so today I'm here and I'm finally going to be telling my paranormal story time. I know I originally said I was going to do it on the bed, but I'm just going to film it here. I think it would be easier, but without further ado, let's get into this. To break it down, I am going to break this into a few different videos. This video is going to be more of an introduction, and I'll end it with like a finale and all. I do actually have a picture to show you guys, but I wanted to make it more a little bit so it's not like a humongously long video. So yeah, this video here is going to be the introduction to how the story time happened. I am going to be changing some names. The people told me what they wanted their names to be changed. Some of them are funny, but I will be changing their names, so that as a heads up, the only person's name I won't be changing is my boyfriend's. But other than that, let's get into it, and I really hope you guys like this sort of thing, so let's see. There might be a few pieces I might leave out, just because I'm not really sure if I'm going to bring them in or not into the story, but I'm going to tell as much of the story as possible that I can. Just as a disclaimer, I'm not trying to offend anybody or anything like that. This is just my experiences of what have happened, and yeah, that's about it. And to start it off, I'm really not... I'm a pretty open, like, spiritual person, but I don't have any set belief. I'm just pretty, like, open and, like, spiritual. I'm not a naysayer of anything. I'm actually very open-hearted, and I'm not closed-minded at all. But going into it, I do not have any set religion. So I figured that's being honest and putting it out there as an open disclaimer. Alright, so let's get into the story now. So, to start back, this is when I was living in my old apartment, the first apartment that when I first started my channel, where I had my own makeup room. This is where this happened. This is going back a few years now. Now we're in the house and love this place. Nothing creepy is really here like that. But we are in that apartment, so taking you guys back. So the first time this story even came about is, and she wants to be called Kathleen, came with two other people to pick me up from work, and they were mutual friends that we had, but I didn't know them too well. But they came to pick me up from my work, and we were all going to hang out, and my friend did have the Ouija board. At first I was like really like, okay, this is stupid, I'm not going to play with it, I'm not going to touch it. We did go back to my apartment, and we went to go play in like my main like dining room area, I think it's supposed to be, but we just use it as like another front room area. But we went in there and they were playing, and I was kind of watching, and it wasn't saying anything that drastic. It was just saying hello. It was like not really moving that much. But yeah, as they were playing and asking questions, it then spelled out my name. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, like it's one of them probably moving it around to make me touch it. And then I asked a question like, oh yeah, like if it is somebody, like name something only I would know. And it spelled out, and at the time it meant a lot to me, because just like a few short months prior to that, one of the most important people passed away to me ever, and it was my grandma. I called her Mama, and she was one of the most important people ever to me, so it was really hard on me. But those two people did not know it. My best friend did, but the other two people did not. But it spelled out Mama, and I was like, well, if it's really her, I thought at first like, oh, this isn't really funny, like it made me feel like really weird. Like, well, if it's you, then say something only you would know. And it spelled out like Curly, Ginger, and Bear, which were the three names of her dogs, and none of those people would know, not even my best friend, and I thought that to be really strange. And of course then I got a little bit intrigued, and I was like, what the hell, because it was really weird, because how would any of those people know? They wouldn't know that. And when it spelled it out, so then I got enticed to then start touching it and playing it. I did ask several more questions, and it really seemed like at first I was connecting to my mama, which is my grandma, but I really thought at first it was. Now I know later on in the story I wasn't. I got fooled, but we will get to that. It pointed out the date that she passed. It just said a lot of like really personal things that none of the people that were playing would know. So it was really creepy no matter what. But that was the first time we played, and it kind of was weird. I got really weirded out, kind of goosebumpy, and they all left. And my friend ended up coming back because she had to drive them to home, and then I was kind of enticed, and we ended up having like a little sleepover, and she actually like stayed at my house for like 2 weeks. So a lot goes on in these next 2 weeks. So she ended up staying at my house, and then I was kind of more enticed, like, hey, like, now that it's just me and you, like, I felt a little bit more comfortable, and I was kind of intrigued. I'm like, oh, like, can we play? and then we went to start playing and all that, and nothing at first was happening, and then it really started to go, and it seemed like she, Kathleen, connected with somebody. It's weird calling her that because it's not her name. It seemed like she connected with somebody that she loved, and it seemed really realistic. She did ask me not to say what it was, so I am going to respect her privacy and not say. There was that, and then I connected again, and I really thought I'm talking to my mama. But then in the middle of we're talking to these people, and it seemed really good, and mind you, we did this for the next few days. And she spent the night. That's all we did. We played Ouija. That's all we did. We got so into it thinking we were honestly connecting to people that passed away. And it made me feel good too, because there was a lot of things I wanted to hopefully get off my chest and make the connection with and say like sorry about, because there was just a lot of stuff that happened and I felt like I really didn't get to say goodbye. So for the next few days, that's what we were doing. And yeah, nothing really bad happened then. It seemed really genuine and real. Now looking back, I think we really got fooled, but it's what happens. So now going after those few days of that happening, nothing bad to report. We then tried to play again another day and nothing would happen, like nothing moved at all. And that seemed weird, and we tried for like a good 30 minutes of playing and nothing was happening. So we always made sure to say goodbye. We wouldn't let it count down. We never let it go to any of the four corners. We knew all the rules. We didn't let it do anything like that. Alright, so then going to another night. Me and her decided, okay, let's play again. And we decided to go all out. We turned off the lights, we lit candles, and we were like, alright, come on, like something's gonna happen, right? And we were really trying to get connected to the people that we thought we were connecting to. That did not happen. Instead, we connected with 4 different spirits that night, and this is important to note. We connected with 4 different spirits that night. One was named Doris, one was named Thomas, and that's important, so please remember that one. Then I can't remember the third one's name because he didn't come up that much. And then the other one, it started with a Z. Don't worry, it wasn't Zozo. I don't have a Zozo story. His name was like it was like Z-A-A, like Z, like A-H or something. It was like Zaza. I try not to say it too much because it's like keep it a secret. I also feel like if you talk about it too much, you could bring it in. I know that sounds crazy, but I try to be careful. But I don't have like a Zozo experience, so sorry to disappoint you. But, so that's happening. And we were talking to these different people, and mainly the Z or the Tommy would kick in. And like when he would write the Z one, you could actually feel like the pressure almost on the planchette. It was super weird. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, you could almost like hear like it like pushing down, but mind you, we were barely like fingertips touching it, like barely touching this. And then Tommy would come in a lot. At first they were all pleasant experiences. Like Doris said that like she used to live in the apartment that we lived in. She died in it. And I actually looked it up. Creepy. This is kind of going on a side thing. But when you look it up, you can see people who live there. It's like Spookio or Speakio. I forgot what it is. But it's a website like that, and you can look it up. And I found out a bunch of information about my apartment that I did live in, which I will go to later. But she said she lived there and she died. And she didn't really say too much. She said she just kind of like watched over. She didn't really get in the way. She kept it very short and simple. Seemed like a sweet spirit. Tommy said he would be in the room. Now this is where it gets creepy, and see, there's so much to tell that I don't know how to like break it down where it's not messy. So this is why this is just a quick introduction. And Tommy said he was always around, and he's followed for a very long time. I got so much to go into when it comes to Tommy that it seems almost outrageous, but I swear it is 100% real. And then there was the Z one, and then there was that third person, and I feel bad I can't remember the name. I even asked my friend, Kathleen, I asked her several times, and she could not remember that one's name either. She mainly just remembered those 3. Those are the ones that, like, you know, got her attention and we mainly talked to, so. Alright, so then we're playing, and they said, you know, normal things, and they kind of broke it down. Doris came through every once in a while. Third guy came through every now and again, not saying too much. Mainly Z and Tommy spoke. It got really weird because, like, Z would always go over people, and at first it just seemed like friendly spirits, but then that night's done. Okay, so going on to the next night, we are in that same, like, second front room, dining room area, whatever you want to call it, and we are sitting there again. We got candles and all that, and it's me and her hanging out. Now, I have a sheet that's between where the kitchen used to be and that room that we were in, and it was like that thicker sheet. If you guys watch my videos from about maybe 5 years ago when I posted just a few, you can actually see that sheet sometimes in the background depending on how I was filming and when I filmed it, so you guys could see the back door, well the door behind me I should say. When you guys can see that thick sheet is what I'm talking about. It's an orange sheet, so if you go back you can look at that. But this thing, I don't understand it, and I never will. It literally was like laying flat, mind you, there's nothing on. It's just like spring, it's just normal weather. No fans, no windows open or anything, especially because I was on the 3rd floor. I never opened my windows. Okay, we're getting into that too. But never open the windows, so it's not just some weird breeze. This thing goes from the top of the floor to, you know, the top of the ceiling to the floor, and it started to literally go like this. Like, and it went like almost like straight out, this sheet did, from where it was like connected, like straight out. And then as it was coming back down, it literally looked like you could see like these handprints in the sheet. Thinking about it now, like I have like goosebumps because it didn't make any sense. Now, all in these few moments, okay, this is happening. Okay, thinking about it now, it's like making me nervous because it was literally so like freaky. It doesn't sound freaky, but it was. And then you can kind of see, like I said, like impressions of like handprints, okay, coming down on it. Mind you, it's just me and her here at the time. We're just hanging out, and you could see that. And then in just like a few seconds, then the 2 candles that we had went out. Me and her like jumped up. We're trying to like get the candles back and lit, and to reach the light bulbs, you had to just screw them in because the fixture, little like the string thing, didn't work. So we tried to screw them in real quick. We're trying to fix the light bulbs and like figuring out what just happened. Like, that was really weird. Like, what was that? So then we decided, okay, we're gonna say goodbye for the night, call it done, because that was just super weird. And then we talked about it for a while, being like, was that real? Like, could it have been fake? It is an old apartment. It was like made in like the 1800s. You know, could there have been like a weird, like, I don't know, it's an old building, like a weird draft that could have done it, but then the handprints and the candles, like, we tried to justify it. And then we're so smart, we decided let's play again. But this time we weren't as creeped out because then at that point, then my boyfriend was home, even though he was in another room hanging out. We weren't so creeped out then to play, and we're like, alright, we just probably overthought it. Maybe it was just something weird. And that's what we left it off as. Then we're trying to talk to it again, and nothing's happening at first. And then as we're trying to do it, it ends up coming up with saying, please stop. That's what it says, and then it abruptly literally takes and moves, and it makes it so it like, I mean, it moved, and you could hear it drag across the board, moving, mind you, again, barely, we're both barely touching it. It didn't make sense, but it moved so quickly that our hands are trying to keep up with it, that it took into like I'm going to show you what my phone, like say this is the edge of the board, and this is the planchette, it went like, and then the part of the bottom where it has the 2 prongs, like fell off. Freaked us out completely. We hurried up, we moved it, said it could say goodbye, because we know it's not supposed to like fall off the board or anything. So we like got super creeped out. We were like, yo, like this is weird, now this is getting strange, and it said for us to please stop. You think we would have stopped, but I don't know, like, if you've ever done it, you know it's almost kind of like addicting if you've ever played. And I know it sounds dumb, but it is like addicting. If you've ever played a Ouija board, you just want to keep going because it's so interesting, and you like, I don't know, like there's whole conversations, but most of that's boring. I'm trying just to stick to like the cooler things, like, I guess. But yeah, but us being us, we decided we're gonna keep playing. Not this day. We stopped that night, super creeped out, could not get no sleep. Alright, no sleep. We decided to play another night. And this night, it wasn't too bad. It was normal conversations. We had a nice conversation with Doris, and we were having a conversation with Tommy, and he said, like, he tends to watch over me a lot, which was weird. There's going to be another thing to Tommy, like I said, so don't forget that. And it's really strange. But I'm not changing any of the spirits' names, by the way. I am keeping their names. But we are talking to them, and it seems pretty normal. But then again, like, comes in. and super, like, you can feel the change. It was like there was like a change in the air, and that's when we kind of realized, like, alright, this is getting really weird and strange. But as we were playing, like, you could feel how the planchette, the energy of it, like, changed. Like, it wasn't like that soft, like, kind of moving. It was like sharp and more aggressive, and it said like weird things. Like, I don't know how to explain this. We were playing and then it got weird, and this is my personal experience. I'm keeping most of her experiences out of this, except for a few, because most of them I feel like it's either up to her to decide to share, and that's if she wants to. So, but this is what happened to myself. As we were playing, and you felt the shift change, alright? It was the weirdest thing. As we were playing, we got the candles and all around and stuff, and me and her are sitting like this. It's just so weird because when I think about it, it's like super strange, and we're looking at it, and it's like I felt my vision shift almost. I don't think I was possessed or anything like that, so before we get there, no, nothing like that. But that's what it felt like. Like, you could actually see the shift, and I'm not the only person. She also felt that too, so I don't know how to describe that. It could have been because of the candles flickering and us looking at the writing a while, but all of a sudden I felt this really weird pressure, like, around me. And as I, like, it was so weird because, like, literally I could feel it. It was like somebody, like, aggressively, like, was, like, squeezing me. And I'm really fair, so when somebody, like, touches me, it, like, leaves a mark for a second. This is important. You know, as we're doing this, like, I'm frozen up, and my friend's looking at me. She just looks like I'm gonna, like I look like I'm, like, dying. She, like, didn't know what the hell just happened in that moment. And then seeing the shift change like that, she's just looking at me, and then it spelled out, like, I'm always around you. And mind you, and then the pressure was gone. And then I jumped up, like, I jumped right up off the table, away from everything. And I'm looking at her, and I turn on the light bulb, like I said, because you have to screw it in. And I'm looking at her, and you could actually see, like, that somebody was, like, going like this. And it wasn't myself because I had my fingers on the planchette. Alright, and you could actually see it, okay? It didn't hurt, it was just fucked up. Like, I don't know how else to put that. I'm sorry to swear, but it was, dude. Like, to be in that and have that happen was fucked up. And you could actually feel it and see it, and it's like, it really creeped me out. And at that point, I was pretty much, like, I was pretty much done. I didn't want to play anymore. I was pretty much done. So after this, we weren't really playing or anything. She spent the night a few times again at my house, and then she ended up going back to her house and all that. She did leave the Ouija board. It was just in a Stewart store bag. If you guys know what that is, I don't know. It was in that with the planchette, but the planchette was, like, behind it, so it wasn't on the actual lettering. And it was just in a bag. And she did leave this here for a few days. Nothing happened. We weren't playing. The apartment felt different. It felt like you were always being watched, and it did feel creepy. But then it's been a few days now, so I'm putting that out there. And somehow, mind you, I'm the only one home. She's not spending the night no more. My boyfriend is gone at work. I am waking up to go get ready to go to work, and nothing is out. It is just me. And yes, I do have, like, cats and dogs. They don't have fingers to take things off doorknobs and move things. So, be that as it may be. Alright, so getting ready, go in, take a shower. I'm in my makeup room. I come out, and the Ouija board is still in the bag and all that, but it is suddenly now on the bed. And from the other room, not the room she was sleeping in that was hanging on the door that was, like, open. So it was like this. Now suddenly it was on the bed. Mind you, I just woke up not that long ago. Nothing was on the bed. Nobody came in. This is where it gets, like, really weird. And I kind of feel like it got really messed up. But that really, really freaked me out. So, you know, I hurry up while I'm texting my boyfriend. Did you move this? Did you come home? Text my friend just to make sure, like, nobody messed with me. But she doesn't have keys or anything, so that didn't make sense either. But I just wanted to make sure nobody was messing with me. And nobody was. But I ended up just taking it, putting it into the other room, throwing it on that little guest room bed, and shutting the door. And I had to hurry up and go to work. Later on that night, when I came home, that Ouija board ended up being out on the kitchen table. It was still in the bag and all that, but suddenly it's just out on the kitchen table. Mind you, my boyfriend is not home yet from work. he's coming home after I am. So it still doesn't make sense. Nobody's home, and I doubt the cats are undoing the doorknob, going in, grabbing it, and moving it somewhere. And nobody else is there, so. And then it's just right there, out there on the table. And when my boyfriend gets home, like, I don't know, about 30 minutes to an hour later, I tell him really what happened and how it freaked me out. And I made sure, again, like, are you messing with me? Like, seriously, this is funny. I really wanted to make sure, like, it wasn't him. But he swears it wasn't, and I really don't think that it was. So then, just for funsies, I decided, well, let me just make sure nobody's messing with me. And when we did play, I wanted to make sure nobody else was moving it or anything like that. So I figured, I'm going to try to play with myself. Nothing really happened when I tried to play with myself. I did have my boyfriend in the bedroom at the time, and I did it right in front of him just in case. And like literally like nothing, it was like minutes, like 10 minutes. Nothing at all moved. I was like, you know, I was asking the question like, hello, is anybody there? You know, all those normal things. And nothing was happening. And then as I was about to say goodbye, it then started rapidly going to just F. But like the weird thing is like when you're the only one playing it, and you know you're not moving it, that you are definitely not moving it, and you are not touching it like that, like you barely put fingertips on it, and it was like aggressively moving. And then I got really creeped out because as it was doing that, I couldn't keep up with it, and for like, I saw it for that millisecond, that moment where it's like it's moving and my fingers aren't on it. And I'm not the only one because he saw it too. So I took it, I grabbed it, I put it to goodbye. Then I tell my friend, she said to come get her board. I don't want it anymore. It's got to get out of my house. Alright guys, I'm going to leave this here. Thank you guys so much for watching the introduction portion. I'm sorry if it got really messy and kind of sloppy. I promise the next few parts are going to be really nice and smooth. It's just this first part, I didn't know how much to go into detail and which parts to really like show, but the next few parts really go in a nice like flow and sequence. But I just tried to put it out there as the best I could for the introduction. I hope you guys enjoy. This is something kind of different, and please get ready for part 2 coming up soon. Alright, thank you guys. Bye.